today at church, Pastor Josh shared about their calling to leave this area and go to Texas. And it's been a huge decision for them that hasn't been easy. On one hand, they totally feel secure that it is a God thing. It's what God is asking them to do. But on the other hand, it scares them to death, and because it's very uncertain, and everything isn't mapped out exactly just yet. So they're having to go a lot on faith. And he was talking about in the scriptures, scriptures that we've all heard so many times about, where Jesus walks on the water and Peter walks out on the water to him. And so many of us have prayed that prayer of, God, I know I have. God, I will go where you ask me to go, and I will do whatever it is that you ask me to do. And we say that prayer, and then God takes us up on it. And when God shows up, whenever Jesus reveals himself to us, then we get scared. When we see Jesus and he shows up, then we are scared. And he says, it's me. Don't be afraid. It's me. And I just want to share some notes that I took down. It says, Jesus does assure us that it is me, so don't be afraid. And then we trust Jesus, but we say, if it's really you, call me to come out to you on the water. And so we ask for the big thing, to walk on water with Jesus. And so he says, okay, well then come on out. So he calls us out on it. And so then this is where the decision has to be made. And the big takeaway for me was, if you want to walk on water, you have to get out of the boat. And if you stay in the boat, you don't get to walk on water with Jesus. And he is saying, okay, come on out. Come to me and walk with me. And so, initially we are so excited. We feel like God has called us to him, and we get excited and we jump on out that boat, and we're like, okay, then I will come to you and I will get out of this boat. And when God called Peter to come out, or whenever Peter said, call me to come to you, the storm was already raging. It was not calm. Peter did not step out onto calm waters. The storm was already raging, but he was so excited, I guess is not the greatest word, to see Jesus out there, that he was willing to jump out of the boat in the middle of a storm. And then he got out there, and the reality of what the situation was, of the waves pounding and churning and the wind blowing, and it wasn't an easy path, and it wasn't calm. And so the path to getting out to Jesus and walking on the water, the things around him started making him lose his focus on Jesus, and he starts sinking. And so many of us feel that way. We feel that we are very quickly in over our heads. But when we get in over our head is whenever we have taken our eyes off of Jesus, and we start relying on our own devices, and we start looking around and realize, I don't have the resources. I don't have the resources for this. And we take our eyes off Jesus, and the waves start pounding, and we start panicking. And so, but Jesus tells us to come ahead. And we lose our nerve, though, and we start to sink. But then there usually comes that point where we cry out to Jesus, and we say, please, Lord, I can't do this without you. Come save me. And he does. And he reaches his hand out to you, and he grabs you and he pulls you out. And it says Jesus didn't hesitate. He reached down and he grabbed him. And in the Message version, he says, "What got into you?" So he asked Peter, "What got into you? Why did you panic? Why did you get so scared?" And the answer is simple. He took his eyes off Jesus, and he started to sink, and he started to panic, and he started to feel in over his head. And no matter what studying I do, the answer to the question is always keep your eyes on Jesus. So that was my takeaway from the message today, and I wanted to share it with you. I hope it was helpful to you. So, as always, know that God loves you, know that I love you, and you have a great day.